And then, what in my opinion is the best presentation of the day,
Yeah.
Sony, I think they killed it,
It was
this
incredible.
year.
Yeah.
It was incredible. From start to finish, like they started with the band, with the orchestra, then God of War.
God of War,
like,
yeah.
Whoa.
Right on, yeah.
You know the roar of the audience when like from the shadows Kratos emerges
Yeah.
and you see like his little like the weird red stuff that he has in I forgot what that was, but I mean the roar of the audience was enough to hype me, and I'm not a huge God of War fan.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, I think I was telling you yesterday, I think Sony took the idea of the Nintendo Directs and implemented it to their conference. Like, new game, here's content, next game. That I think that's the idea that they got.
Actually, yeah, now that you bring it up, it was game after game
Yeah.
after game after game. Like, there were maybe, 1 minute of other things between like at most.
Yeah.
Like, it was God of War, then the VR stuff, that actually we should talk about that. But, yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So God of War looks great. I think
God of War looks great.
one of the next games they showed was Last Guardian.
yeah, it
And-
was like the third maybe, but
Yeah, and I think that game has been in development a really long time, and people are
like 10 years, I think.
and people were waiting for it, and it looks good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good. And
Another one of my favorite games out of all E3 was this one called Horizon Zero Dawn, which it looks like a open world RPG.
yeah, it reminded me a little bit of like Fallout and Skyrim and all of those things.
Yeah, and it's like this nature place where technology takes over or something like that, and you can play with the robots that are there, and it looks fun.
Yeah, it looks really fun, and actually, it's probably the game that I'm looking forward to the most from Sony. Just because I'm a sucker for those exploration type of games.
Yeah.
And well, not at all exploration, but Crash Bandicoot, made a little bit, not of a resurgence, but maybe like, hey guys, like I exist.
Yeah.
And we talked about this here on TVGamers about Crash Bandicoot coming back, and we actually talked about remasters of the original trilogy.
We did.
So we hit the nail there. We did not hit the nail with the Skylander figure and appearance. That's a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's not exclusive to Sony. It will be compatible with the Xbox version and the Wii version. But still a positive thing.
Yeah, but
overall.
it comes in an exclusive PS4 bundle, I think, right?
Yeah, so far they've announced that it will be exclusive to the PlayStation bundle. But who knows, maybe later on, like the Donkey Kong and the Bowser ones.
That's right.
Well, I was honestly actually very disappointed to not see a true new Crash Bandicoot. Like we saw the remastered trilogy, we saw, we saw the Skylander, but I felt that it would have been the cherry on the cake, to see an actual a Crash Bandicoot comeback.
Yeah.
This is sort of like, like the Mega Man Legacy Collection last year, or, that sort of thing, or a virtual console release of a game. But I would have liked to see,
I hope it's a case that they're testing the waters to see if people still care about Crash.
Yeah, hopefully, and it's the beginning of a new perspective from Sony. I think that they used to have a very broad audience, like way back on the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2. But ever since 3, maybe aside from little things like perhaps Little Big Planet, otherwise it's like the mature audience, like adults and whatnot. So yeah, it would be pretty cool to see them return to that really broad demographic.
Yeah.
And well, I guess that what's next to talk about is VR set or the VR kit that PlayStation announced, and well, basically it's just a VR kit. Unlike Project Scorpio, it's not a new PlayStation. It's just the VR.
Which they're releasing, but they didn't talk about it in the C3, right?
Yeah, but I mean, as far as we know, it's a baby step compared to Project Scorpio. I mean, based on what Microsoft said, at least. And I feel a lot more confident on PlayStation on the long run, at least, because I feel that they know very well how to finish. I feel like the PlayStation 4's lifespan.
Yeah, I hope they do.
Because, I mean, getting started with the fact that the PlayStation 4 that people own today will be compatible with the VR set.
Yeah,
And the Xbox One won't.
that's right.
So, yeah, that's an awesome move from Sony, in my opinion.
Yeah. One game which they showed with VR was Resident Evil 7, right?
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
And the thing that I like the most is that when playing without VR, it doesn't seem that different of an experience, you know? I mean, I know that you don't feel like it's like the monsters are close to you or something like that, but it doesn't feel like a totally different game.
Right. Actually, I mean, it looks awesome for VR. It's like, yeah, this is VR. But at the same time, since, for example, we had the playable trailer for Silent Hill, which was, honestly, that reminds me more of Resident Evil 7 than, you know, previous Resident Evils.
Yeah, that's right.
It's much more reminiscent.
And it seems like they took inspiration from the playable trailer of Silent Hill.
Yeah, and it's not like anybody's going to claim the credit because Silent Hills is a dead project.
Yeah,
so
of course,
this might be the next best thing.
Yeah.
And overall, I'm pretty excited about the VR. Arkham Knight. I mean, I'm sorry, the Arkham VR experience that they teased with Mark Hamill reprising his role as the Joker. It was
It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it's. I hope it's awesome.
The only thing that I'm, not worried, rather I don't like that much is the price of the VR. It's like, I think it's $400 for the set.
Yeah, but you know, it's still a very cheap set. Like, well, not cheap, but it's well priced. But the system that you require to play it is very cheap. The PlayStation 4 compared to, you know, $1,200 or $1,200 PCs or $1,500. Plus the Oculus or plus the Vive or plus.
I guess that's good.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of VR, that's not from, you know, a smartphone, which honestly does not work all that well. I think that it's a very cheap opportunity, and that makes it very appealing for the consumer.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, if VR is getting this cheap, I mean, the next best thing is to just buy the VR kit, and that's playable already.
Yeah.
But you know, in the meantime, this is the best VR chance yet in terms of, you know, consumer risk or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that this is a very promising set, and correct me if I'm wrong, but Fallout 4 is coming for the PlayStation VR set.
I think it is.
Yeah. So we're already getting, like, not tech demos like what Ubisoft showed or what we see at most conventions. Like, now we're getting Fallout there. So it's a very complex game. I'm very interested in seeing how they do that.
Yeah. And, well, having talked about Silent Hills a bit a while ago, why don't we talk about the new Kojima game?
Oh my god.
And him appearing in the conference, right?
Yeah, you know, his appearance was awesome.
Yeah, it was very badass.
I don't usually want to go full on fanboy, but you know, that moment, to see that moment, one of the great video game developers appear like that, you know, with all his swag and the path showing in front of him was awesome.
And it was like, I'm back.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, like, I'm back from the dead almost. Like when Jon Snow came back. Yeah, it was awesome. And
his game, it looks like a Kojima game, right? Like,
it's like super cinematic, super weird. Like, I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it. And I love that they brought back the guy from Walking Dead.
Yeah, Norman Reedus, I think it's his name.
That guy, he was in Silent Hills, or was gonna be in Silent Hills. I'm very happy that he came back for this new project with Kojima. That speaks a lot about the two. Like, it shows that they made a very good relationship.
And you saw the photo that he posted, Norman Reedus, before the conference of Kojima.
No, I didn't.
With holding a cup, drinking, and it said Konami Tears.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome. We're definitely showing that right now in the video. And yeah, I mean, Konami, you know, we're gonna take 1 second to talk about Konami here. They messed up badly.
Yeah.
I mean, letting Kojima go.
Yeah.
He was the one keeping that company alive.
Yeah. Silent Hills is done. I mean, well,
Metal Gear Solid
Metal Gear Solid.
is supposed to have sequels, but we all know they're going to suck.
Castlevania.
Oh, Castlevania. Well, I guess that we can talk a little bit about I was gonna say Rondo of Blood, but no, that's an actual Castlevania game. No,
Bloodstained Ritual of the
Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Since it is coming from the PlayStation 4, that sort of wave of classic games being reimagined by the people that worked on them originally, that to me is so beautiful to see, because it's like the developer winning over the publisher. Like it's sort of like telling the publishers, you don't own the developer.
I have the power.
I have the power. I have the content. I have the talent. And
I think the talent is the most important thing, right? Because they can take away their IPs, but they'll never take away their imagination.
Yeah, and Bloodstained Ritual of the Night seems like a perfect game. So, yeah, that seems to be the case.
Yeah, another one is Yooka-Laylee.
Yooka-Laylee is another perfect example. Like, they were bought off by Microsoft.
They did one horrible game.
They did one terrible game, and now they are coming back with their own ideas, their own creativity, and making what they always wanted, you know, like the sequel. Banjo 3 is Yooka-Laylee.
Yeah.
No doubt
pretty
about
much.
that. Yeah, pretty much. The spirit lives on. Well, I think that's a perfect way to wrap things up. Thank you guys for listening to our day 2 of the E3 2016 conferences roundup and discussion. This has been Paco Treviño, and today I was joined by Lauro Chapa.
Thanks for watching, guys.
We were the TVGamers, and why don't you follow us on our social media? We keep you posted with what we upload, like reviews, discussions, and some retrospectives. And we have one coming up in the horizon. So why don't you keep us posted by subscribing to our channel on YouTube, tvgamers.net. Until next time, bye bye, guys.